Let's bring in retired Lieutenant Colonel James Carafano, the Heritage Foundation Vice President for National Security and Foreign Policy. Colonel, thanks for joining us.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Thank you. So does this mean the strike on General Soleimani was effective?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think there's any question about that. And when we kind of roll the tape and we go back and we look at all the claims that this was escalatory and we were headed to a war path, none of that was realistic to begin with. And the fact that this really unfolded exactly the way as you would expect it to unfold, I think it's just an affirmation that the United States has hit on a strategy that the Iranians just don't have an effective counter for. They really can't start World War III because they can't really get to the United States. And the United States is never going to give them the privilege of sending masses of armies there to fight them. So they can go tit for tat. But we've got so many ways to get at the Iranian regime in ways that they can't get back at us that they really are boxed in.
So when do you expect the negotiations to resume? Also, what does the Trump administration want? And does Iran have any room to make demands?
Well, I think if the Iranians are consistent, the first thing they'd want to do is wait and see the results of the U.S. elections. I think they're very confident that if just listening to the debate, that if they had a president from the other side, they wouldn't have to do anything, that the sanctions would be lifted. We'd go back to some, even though the Iran deal is almost over, we just kind of rubber stamp that deal again. And they would get, a breathing space to kind of refill their coffers. But so the problem is Trump is reelected, he's been very consistent in how he negotiates and saying that we're not going to give you benefits at the front end. If you want to negotiate, you have to make a deal with us. So the reality is it's the only path forward for them if they really want to bring some strength back into the country and bring some money back in and re-energize their economy.
What is the deal that President Trump wants?
Well, I think it is a commitments that would actually make the region and our allies confident that Iran does not have the capacity to reinstitute a program which could actually deliver nuclear weapons, that they would eliminate the ballistic missile program, and that they would make guarantees and enforceable guarantees in terms of the support for surrogates, which are deeply destabilizing to the region. Without a comprehensive deal like that, I don't think the U.S. that negotiations would actually get very far.
And will this have any notable impact on Iraq?
Well, I think Iraq's an open question. There are three groups in Iraq: Sunni, Shia, and Kurd. The Sunnis and Kurds want the U.S., they want the West, and they don't want an expansion of Iranian influence because they would suffer as a result of that. And even within the Shia community, there are some Shia which are incredibly nationalistic, and they don't want their country under Iranian influence. And what nobody wants is to go back and have a security vacuum, like when Obama withdrew the troops, that leaves a space for rapid radicalization with ISIS or groups similar to that. So Iraq is really kind of teetering, and there really isn't a clear direction that they can turn to that solves all the problem. Iraq is stuck that Kurds, Sunnis, and Shias are safest when they live together, and they have to figure out how to do that. And forces like the Iranians, which are really just interested in expanding their influence, in the day, that's never going to be good for the future of Iraq.
Colonel Carafano, I have to leave it there. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you.